I'm a rational person, but at the same time I'm the product of Russian and post-Soviet upbringing, and that means that I'm also terribly superstitious. I think the most ridiculous thing that happened to me once, when I was in the 9th grade or maybe the 10th grade, I was preparing for the state exams, and I went to my tutor to the center of my town. In my pocket I carried the doubled price of my bus ride, or triple price, because I needed to go to the university, come back, and I was always an anxious child with an anxious grandmother, and she always gave me an extra sum of money for me in case if the bus breaks or something happens or I lose my way. And on this bus I met an old lady, and she said that she had no money to pay for the bus, and she started to tell me stories about her youth, about stuff, about her lovers, and I listened to it. I gave her my money, like the extra money, because I was already going home, and she asked me for my name, and instead of giving my name, I said that my name is Tanya. And she said, I will pray for you, Tanya, you're such a beautiful soul. And I thought, okay, I can live without it. Moin moin, dear people, old, new, my friends, the friends of my friends, my relatives, and anyone in the world who found this channel and who thought that possibly the topics I'm talking about here might be interesting for them. My name is Anna of Northern Germany, a survivor, fighter, a writer, and on this channel generally I am presenting some lifestyle content, and I also talk about things that interest me. Also sometimes I do unwind vlogs when my nervous system cannot handle it anymore, and it does happen pretty often, unfortunately, because I have the background of depression, but fortunately now I'm in remission for quite a while already. Also sometimes I talk about politics, and also sometimes I talk about Russian folklore. There are some videos on the channel about this topic already. I am a big fan of the Slavic folklore, and I enjoy gathering information like bits by bits, because as I had already mentioned, unfortunately, because of the USSR being quite aggressive towards the traditions, and also before we were pagans, then the church came and the pagans were out of favor already, and then the USSR came and all this stuff happened. So we lost quite some of our traditions. That's why sometimes I resort to some Ukrainian traditions, Ukrainian beliefs, Ukrainian magic, Ukrainian folklore, because I'm coming from Kursk region. Kursk region is the border with Ukraine, and well, some things are similar, some things are different. But the thing that I brought for you today is very interesting. I got the book from my friend. She told me that she didn't have time to look into it, and she said that she would just watch my video about it. I feel honored, of course. And this book, as you could already see from the beginning of the video, is this book from the thumbnail of the video, and it's called Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft, and it's written by Madam Pamita, who is a Ukrainian diaspora witch, and that means that we can trust her because she is Ukrainian diaspora. I think she has something to say about Baba Yaga and Baba Yaga's magic. And in this video I'm going to talk about this book. I will tell you who Madam Pamita is a bit, some things that I really liked about this book, some things what I found interesting and what helped me to reconnect with my Slavic nature. I did some things. I did cross-stitching. I also did a bit of crocheting and a bit of cooking. I also wanted to do wreaths. wreaths, like vinokis, as she calls them in Ukrainian. In Russian, that will be vinki, something like this. But yeah, technically, before Ivan Kupala, it's a pagan Slavic celebration, which is also Midsommar, but also on the 7th of July, I think, in modern days, which is coming soon. And you are supposed to create one of these wreaths and throw it into the source of water, and like this you can predict your future, and this is what we all like. But also what I'm going to talk about, the problematic nature of the Slavic magic and Russian magic in particular, because I don't want to talk about Ukrainian magic or anything, because I'm Russian and I know things about Russia, right? So it has nothing to do with Madam Pamita, but it's something that I found in the book, this problematic thing. So yeah, hopefully enjoy. Maybe I should really start the video with a disclaimer, and what I like about this book, it also has a disclaimer. And please, I'm talking about this book more from the point of view of the Slavic folklore, but there are people who want to try it out as the magical book, to do some magical rituals, and there are also rituals how to cure yourself or your loved ones, and also other spells and rituals I'm going to talk about closer to the end of the video. And please go to the doctor and get the real treatment first. And then, as addition, as an extra help, you can try this out. I'm begging you. I'm the person who's very serious about that, because my cousin, my 4th degree cousin, but I consider her my cousin anyway, she lost her mother because she was in a sect, and after that, when she got cancer, she refused to get treatment. And I am really strongly against this self-help magic stuff when you are having a serious condition and you need help of doctors. I also saw a lot of stuff with homeopathy, and we had a homeopathy doctor in my hometown, and people resorted to him when basically doctors, like real doctors, gave up on them. And these people, I pitied these people a lot. Those were very pitiful people. I felt so sorry, because they needed a real doctor, or doctors refused to treat them properly, and then they resorted to this charlatan. I cannot call him in a different way, and it's scary, it's sad, and yeah, please, let's first believe in the real medicine. It's not that bad. It's not that bad to resort to charlatans and try magic first, okay? Yeah, so we said the disclaimer, and let's start with Madame Pamita, who she is. I feel like I'm some cartoon character today. And unfortunately, I cannot have long braids. I never possessed this quality of my hair, unfortunately, to be long and braided, but okay. Yeah, so Madame Pamita, according to what it is written on the back side of the book, and also I checked her YouTube channel, she is a magical practitioner, a Ukrainian diaspora witch. She is a candle maker. She's also a content maker. I checked her YouTube channel. There are short videos. I think they can be interesting for you if you're interested in Slavic magic, and if you are also interested in witchy personalities. I think, why not? You can try it out. Also, what I found out from the book description, that she did the ritual of tarot reading to bring awareness to the war in Ukraine and to raise money. This I support. There are various ways to reach out to the audience and to ask help to your fellow countrymen to stop the war, to, I don't know, to arm the army. And this is something that I respect her a lot for. Also in the book there is the information according to which you can contact Madam Pamita if you really want to. But again, disclaimer, please, please, please think twice before contacting a practitioner, magical practitioner, because I don't think Madame Pamita is evil, but there are some who you wouldn't want to be contacted to because they are true evil. Madame Pamita lives in the United States. From what I understand, she didn't really live in Ukraine, but she's from the Ukrainian diaspora. Her mother and her grandmother are Ukrainians. And to write this book, she did quite a research. And she asked various people, also Ukrainians, Ukrainian practitioners, and she read a lot of literature. So if you're interested in Slavic folklore or magic, there are lots of books linked in this book, which you can look into also. And so far, I think I have a very positive impression of Madame Pamita. I'm wondering if I need this thing. Normally probably yes, but maybe I can also manage without it. I'm trying to search for like, it's not canvas, I guess. Well, technically I need something like this, but it's plastic. That's not exactly what I want. And there are these sets, but maybe I can buy this set. Maybe it's a bit... Oh, I can see the thread of different colors because there are these ones that are packed. But I don't need all these colors. I just want to choose black, white and red. That's it. First of all, let me show you the real magic. This is already the second time I'm filming this because my microphone didn't record the audio. Maybe because I dropped my phone. Recently I have dropped my phone 1 million times already, and then I complain why my devices don't work. Yeah, okay. I had actually a very productive day. I have collected strawberries from my friend's garden, and I had quite a lot. And I also shared the strawberries with my neighbor, and I finally went to her to have a tea with her because she had invited me a couple of weeks ago, but I freaked out and I felt very ashamed of myself. And now finally I had a nice tea with her, and I think we had a nice conversation, and it wasn't too short, wasn't too long, and I still have a therapy session in a bit, so I think it was perfect. And strawberries are also amazing. Those are the ones that I had planted for my friends last year as a gift because they're the best people in the world. And yeah, so I was productive, but not work-wise, but you know, organizing stuff. And since it's already the second time I'm showing you this kit, I already opened the previous video with bad sound. What I was saying, cross-stitching kit. I bought the kit like this because I thought it's the best ratio of quality and the things what I'm getting for the price, quality and price, and the number of things I'm getting for this price, because it's so obvious that cross-stitching is not a hyped hobby because there are not that many things that are sold for cross-stitching that are quite mediocre kits that they sell, and of course the price was higher than I had thought, because they say 13 and then when they check it's already 15, because the prices are very random there. And also there were some price labels that were stuck upside down for some reason. I was like, very nice. I couldn't find canvas. There were canvas, not that many. There was a plastic canvas. I don't know what is it for. And the canvas that I saw, they were expensive and also weird shapes. There were, for example, stripes of canvas. Why can't they just get a square like this? And I don't think that this square must cost a lot. I spent in total 18 euro. You can judge if it's good or bad, if it's worth it or not. I just wanted to make a video about it. And yeah, what you get for 14-ish, around 15 euro, you get this hoop. It's wooden. I must say it's very, I think it's a quality hoop. Also, you get canvas with the needle, but the needle, it looks very thin. I think it's not even metal. I think it's plastic. Come on. But I have needles. It doesn't matter. Needle is not the thing that I needed. What I needed, like hoop. Yeah, cool, great. This square must not cost a lot. I don't know. There are also threads, and I chose this one because they have white thread. I couldn't find what white thread. There were like only grays and beige and stuff, but yeah, in this one there is the proper white, because for my experiment, for my witch experiment, I need red or black or white, or together, black, red and white. And I also bought these extra, and they are affordable, like cotton yarn, but cotton threads, black and red. And it makes me a bit sad, because like cross stitching is not popular, and maybe I shouldn't have gone to a day, but I don't have an idea where I could have gone instead of idea, so maybe you have some other ideas. And that was like the choice. The offer wasn't quite vast, and I was quite disappointed, but it is what it is. There is also this hymn, but I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to cross stitch this. I just thought that why people don't cross stitch. It's not hyped, but it's fun, and it's relatively simple, because crochet, for example, or knitting is not easy sometimes. And sometimes it's nice to start with something simple, and cross stitch is simple, and the pictures that you can create with cross stitch, even on clothing, they're so cool. And I learned cross stitching, and I feel great. My grandma taught me, probably when I had chickenpox that I had mentioned in the previous video. But yeah, I feel like it's underestimated. This hobby is underestimated. Let's learn how to cross stitch, and let's hope that my butt will survive that, because the ground is hard. But I wanted to sit outside, because inside the dishwasher is working, and this one is irritating, but okay. Yeah, cross stitching is actually quite easy. And yeah, I have a bit of a bad hair day today. It's fine. I will wash my head tomorrow. I have to wash it tomorrow, first of all, because I will be filming the main part of this video, and second, I must not wash it on Thursday, because on Friday I have my German exam, and if I wash my head before my German exam, I will wash all my knowledge away. Yeah, Russians are crazy if we're talking about Russian superstitions and Slavic magic in general. But yeah, okay. We have this hoop, so we have to open it. I said open it. I opened it, yes? Yeah. Let's open it. It's wood, but be careful because it can break. I had a good hoop at home, a really good hoop. In Russia, I mean. So let's take our canvas. And this needle, I don't know. I also have my own needle, but okay. So we put one hoop from the bottom. From what I remember, I haven't done that a while. And we need to so we need to put one hoop on the other hoop, and so far it's not working. No, wait. Imagine it breaks. That would be amazing. This, like this you close it? No, like this you close it, like this you open it, right? Right? Or not right? Okay, technically. Yeah, technically you can do like this. Let's do like this. Okay, so this we'll put on the bottom. This we'll put over. Like this should work. And I still struggle. Okay. And it must be quite, you know, like the drum. Very tight. Because like this, it's going to be easier to cross stitch. From what I remember. But so far it looks like this. I don't know if I will manage to make it better. Let's try to close it. I didn't want to film how I struggle because, you know, like, it's always difficult to start. Starting is always the most difficult, and it's like the craft is testing you. If you give up during the first steps, that means that the craft won. But yeah, sometimes it's worth persisting. I didn't want to film myself with the hatred on the face because, yeah, I struggled a bit. It's not perfect. If you have a granny who could do that for you, I recommend that because you could have done that much better, I'm sure. And also, I first tried to stick this thing from the other side, but then I realized that the hole here is smaller and the hole here is bigger. So basically, every time when you, like, you know, move, it starts opening again. So I had to try again. So basically, you squeeze it a bit, and then you try to turn and close it. And well, 15 minutes I struggled with it, I guess, but I swear that's the most difficult part. I already poked myself with the needle, so maybe... Oh! You see, guys, like, I remember there was one video in which I was talking about this cardigan, and one person wrote to me, "You're so talented." I'm not, I'm just stubborn, and my hands are not made for crafts, actually. My grandma always told me this, and I think she was right, but I'm very stubborn, so let's... No, I don't like this one. Let's take another one. The main thing, don't sit on the needle, because my grandma and my mom always told me, like, horse. This one is huge. I think I even had another one. Yeah, because I heard a lot of horror stories how you sit on the needle and then it travels in your veins and then it sticks you right in your heart and you die. So let's not do that. Okay, I realized that I need scissors, probably. Okay, I want to tell you first which one I would want to make. I decided I will make this one because it is about realization of expensive wishes, and here I can try white, red and black, and it's pretty. For me it has like Christmassy motifs, but it has nothing to do with Christmas. It's just the sun, the star, all together. And I will make it, probably I would put it on my overalls somewhere here, or maybe not, maybe I will just carry it somewhere in the pocket or in my wallet. Let's see. So I suggest taking something not too long, not too short, because if it is too long it will start tangling. If it is too short it will be very annoying because you'll have to change it all the time. So let's cut here. What do we do then? So we don't do it like this, right? So we pull. It's going to be fun. Okay. It's also fun. Sometimes it also tangles, but generally it's fun when you start pulling it and then it just comes out. See? Oh God. Let's try 4. Maybe. Let's try 4. Like 2 folded. I don't know. Like this it will be a bit... Like, the thicker it is, the thicker your crosses are. That's obvious. Okay. I wonder... Yeah, it should be fine. No. If you're disgusted by leaking the thread, I'm very sorry for you. There is a lot of those in cross stitching. Here guys, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know what happened. I guess while I was just running back and forth trying to establish my camera, the sound just didn't record. But maybe that's for better because it would be too long of video, I guess. Basically what I did, I took my canvas. It didn't really matter where would I start, so I decided to start from the top left corner, and it would be easier to count the crosses, count the squares. Every square equates a cross, and then you can adjust it what is more convenient for you. Then I started to cross stitch with the black, and basically what you do, if you can make a row of crosses, it would be much better, because in this case on the other side it would be prettier and it won't be tangled. And yeah, there is a reason to do that. I don't know why, but it's just nice. And in this case you can either start with the bottom left corner, go to the upright corner, do a couple of stitches and then close them, starting from the bottom right corner, and close them one by one. Or you can do it reverse. You can start from the right up corner and go in the opposite direction. I think it's not too dramatic. I don't really think that this tutorial is needed to anyone. Basically, I chose the picture that was the clearest to look, to compare and to make crosses. That's pretty much it. If you need a proper tutorial, you can of course tell me, but I don't really think so. I finished the top part, I think. I will show it to you. It looks like this, and from the other side it looks like this. as I had promised. I think it looks alright. Could be better, I guess, but yeah, it looks alright. And I spent 1.5 hours on doing that. And 4 threads for this part, 4 threads for this part, and 1 for this, but the black is not finished yet. And I think I pretty much enjoyed it. By the end I started to stress out a bit because, as always, I wanted to overachieve and show you the whole pattern, but it's just not managing. I'm not managing, and I should also rush to do my other things. And as you see, it's a mess, and my exam is approaching, and can't wait. And yeah, it was a bit, well, I cannot say it was difficult to count the crosses, sometimes because of red and white with my astigmatism. It's called like this in English. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult, but it's not undoable. But I'm taking the pause. I don't know when I'm going to finish it. Maybe I will make a short video or show it on Instagram if you want to see the finished pattern, because maybe in the evening I'll come back to crafts and show you another thing that I plan to do, or maybe not. I will see. Otherwise, when you want to try this, you can also try coloring here, like coloring the squares which you're going to cross stitch. Sometimes it makes it easier, sometimes it doesn't. If you cross stitch big pictures, sometimes when it was already pre-painted, pre-colored, the colors blend in with each other and it's a bit difficult to find the correct color, but manageable, it's manageable. And if you want to do that, yeah, sit, relax, only good vibes, good intentions, and dedicate the time wholeheartedly and positive, put your positive attitude into cross stitching. This is the recommendation from Madam Pamita, recommendation from me. No toxic positivity, just take care of yourself and it might help you to relax a bit. Yeah, there's nothing complicated here, it's repetitive, and I even managed to do it without watching anything or listening to anything on the background, because right now I'm like an old junkie. I'm trying to reduce the consumption of social media again. The book is based on the Baba Yaga legend, story, whatever you would want to call it. And I also talked about Baba Yaga in my video, which you can watch. It was somewhere in October during the season of the witch. I think it was a nice video. And in that video I said that technically, in theory, Baba Yaga is not a witch, although she is considered a witch around us, especially in non-Russians. For me, as a Russian, it's more like a fairy tale character, and for a Russian who is into this topic, she is also some kind of a spirit. I would say she is not dead, she is not alive either. She lives in this coffin of hers, which is closed for people, and to enter this coffin you need to know a special spell, and it's normal because she helps to transition from life to death, or from one part of life to another part of life. That's why people who come to her, these young knights and also young women who are searching for some answers, or who are craving to save their loved ones or something like this, they don't return home as they used to be. So they change, they finish the circle, so she helps them to change. Okay, and according to the book of Madam Pamita, she also linked some books about Baba Yaga, and she states that Baba Yaga can be anything. Maybe she was a witch. If she was, maybe she is a creature, maybe she is a forest spirit. So you're free to interpret who Baba Yaga is. This book, if we take it into consideration, yeah, it's a magical book, but also I would call it a folklore book. And this book has a fairy tale, and the fairy tale passes through the whole book. Also, it has the point of view of Baba Yaga. It also has the point of view of Madam Pamita to the problems, because it's divided into chapters. First, we have a chapter from the story. Then, in the chapter, some kind of a problem is described, or some kind of a magical object, or some kind of a creature. And also the problem is presented. And then Baba Yaga comments on it, then Madam Pamita comments on it, and this is my favorite part, because she comments on it very authentically from her experience, because although probably she didn't live in Ukraine, but she was in this surrounding, and she also has memories. And I generally like people's stories of encounter with this magical, you can believe it or you don't have to believe in it, but I just find it interesting. And after her comment, there is usually, some spells are presented, or the object is described, or the problems resolved, or I don't know, some superstitions or some kind of traditions related to the situation or to this object. And in the end, you can also find some keywords, also some links to color magic, plant magic, etc. So this is for magical practitioners who want to try the Slavic magic out. And if you're planning to read this book, and if the fairy tale is important for you, if you really feel like that if I tell the story, there will be a spoiler for you, so probably skip it or return to this video a bit later, because I'm going to talk about the fairy tale on which this book is based. So the fairy tale is something that I, as a Russian, encountered with. So it's a familiar tale for me, plus or minus. Of course, not 100%. It's also a Ukrainian adapted tale. The name of the main character is Vasilina, or in the Russian manner it would be Vasilisa. Vasilisa the Wise, we have the story, I think. That's why I'm wearing the glasses. And Vasilisa the Wise today, she was the one who had a plate and an apple, I think, and the apple was rolling on the plate, and she could see the future or the answers to her questions, from what I remember. And as a Slavic fairy tale, it's very dramatic. I could sense it from the very beginning. The very beginning, when we see her mother, Vasilina's mother, and Vasilina is still a small girl, and we can see how much they are connected, and how Vasilina's mother loves her, how she creates these vyshivanki, so this cross-stitching patterns on her blouses, on her clothing. And I could already sense that it is, the woman is cooked. It's going to end badly. And of course, Vasilina's mother, she creates a doll for Vasilina not to stay completely alone, because the doll is going to help her on her journey, and the doll represents her mother and her ancestors. And Vasilina's mother dies. Of course, in Slavic fairy tales, both parents die, or what often happens, a mother dies, and then the father remarries. And when he remarries, he also loses all his balls, and he is like a mob. We call that a mob in Russian. So he has no word to say against his new wife, And the new wife, she always comes with her own children, with her daughters usually, and she starts bullying the poor child from the other woman. That's exactly what happens. If you know Slavic fairy tales, you're not surprised here. It often happens there. And the plot is that the evil mother wants to get rid of the stepdaughter, and she either sends her on a mission which is impossible to complete, or in some fairy tales she even tells her husband to bring his own daughter to the forest and leave her there. And the father is like, sad but fine. These Slavic men, they are incredible. And Vasilina, sent away by her stepmother to bring the fire. She was deceived by her stepsisters. They lost the fire. The fire is very important, and she was sent to Baba Yaga to bring the fire. But when Vasilisa comes to Baba Yaga, she says that she wants to learn Baba Yaga's ways, and Baba Yaga tests her. And she tests her a lot, she gives a lot of challenges, and in the end Vasilina comes back. Did I call her Vasilisa? If I did, I'm sorry, it's not intentional, it's just, it mixed up in my head. And in the end, she returns and she unintentionally kills her mother and stepsisters because they're evil with the tool that Baba Yaga had handed to her. And then she lives happily. Untraditionally to Slavic fairy tales, she doesn't marry in the end. She becomes some kind of an independent Baba Yaga style woman who a bit scares but also teaches the young generation. Very interesting. And with Vasilina, in this book, you will meet mermaids, you will meet the forest spirit, the house spirit. I also mentioned them in my previous video. There are also some traditions that I had also mentioned in my Christmas video. You can also watch, though it's not Christmas. I was wearing the same dress. But you will forgive me for that. I don't want to overconsume, right? You will see, you will meet them, you will learn their ways, you will learn their magic, how not to bring their anger on yourself, how to protect yourself, or sometimes how to ask help from these creatures, right? And I find it very interesting. I think it's a very engaging way to learn about Slavic magic, which you can try, because it's not necessarily that you must believe in magic. It's also very interesting from the folklore point of view, and I personally really love Slavic folklore. It's an eternal source of inspiration. And I also, when I write, sometimes I also use some metaphors from the folklore, because it's just beautiful. It's also the beauty of the past, of our ancestry. It's the evening, and I think I'm done with the stuff that I was planning to do. My neighbor's cat is enjoying the cool ground. It was so freaking hot. Okay, let's remove the books. Don't need this either. I'm going to free my hooks, and also I freed the yarn, and also I have remembered that I have another pair of scissors, really good scissors. As you can understand, it's been a while since I crocheted or knitted, because I just didn't have mental space for that, I guess. And I have a couple of unfinished projects. I'm still trying, I still keep it in my mind to finish my friend's sweater. His birthday was in February and still not finished. I'm a horrible person. But what I'm trying to do, it's a bit of a bigger project. Of course, I'm not doing that right now, and I'm not sure I will even finish this. But what I'm doing, I want to do this. I'll put a picture somewhere here, because my neighbors have something hanging on the door, and I also want to have something hanging on the door, but I also want it to be something me-like, and of course I can buy something in Rossmann, but I don't really want to buy something in Rossmann and just random thing that doesn't reflect me, so I decided to crochet something like this. In Russia, nobody would have done that because in Russia it would have been stolen for sure. But yeah, I already found a tutorial for myself. Of course, there are like easy tutorials and there are a bit more complicated tutorials. Of course, I chose the one that is a bit more complicated because I have an inferiority complex, and if I haven't done something complex and if I went for the easiest option, that means that I did a bad job. It's not true. I'm working on it, so, but okay, I just feel like maybe it would be a bit better like this, like the poppy. Yeah, I want to crochet a poppy. Why I want to crochet a poppy? There was an option to cross stitch a poppy, but a poppy is that flower that attracts love into one's life. One of my favorite podcasts is out with like really a really cool person. I think my detox is over, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, let's try to crochet. I have a bit weird stuff. My yarn, this yarn is a bit thinner than these two skeins, and normally don't do that. It might look weird, but I will manage. So it's going to be poppy, poppy, and the core of the poppy. Which hook should I take? Know what? If you don't know which hook to take, 3.5. At the beginning I crocheted with 3.5 always, and you can see here it's like even a bit scratched, the number. It's not a beginning free pattern because beginner pattern because she doesn't say anything, she doesn't really show clearly, and I just understand like bit what she is doing because I have experience, but otherwise maybe it's not something with which you would want to start. But there are some other tutorials there. Okay, I decided not to film it, but I finished the middle part. It was just a circle, and these parts of the poppy, they consist of chain 6 slip knot, and I think if you had tried crochet and if you are not like a noob, if you're not a beginner, I think you can do it without a tutorial probably. I don't know. I'll do another one. 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty easy. I like it. Maybe the color is not perfect because I have this color. I bought it when I made a picture from the Ghibli cartoon from a friend, so it was like skin or something. I don't, or faceless, or what it is called. And now I'm trying to use this yarn. It looks a bit bizarre, as if free your hairy nipple, but okay, I guess. And also I'm very grateful to my friend Camila, who taught me to crochet and who also taught me to hide these tails while I'm crocheting. I'm really a friend who can teach you how to crochet and how to hide tails. Don't try not to lose this friend. The red part was a bit slightly more complicated, but it's a petal like this. I think it's going to be 4 more like this. I think for today maybe I will stop because it's getting a bit dark, because yeah, it's still not even 7:30, but yeah, the advantage, this flat cools down really well. The disadvantage, that sun leaves pretty early, and like every German flat, it has the lack of light, and I personally hate the top light, and it's the plan to buy a lamp, a standing lamp, but it's still a plan. When, however, we turn to the magical part of the book, there are some problems which I had already said they have nothing to do with Madam Pamita, and these problems are also Slavic nature related, or if I talk about Russians, because again I have nothing to say about Ukrainians. And Russians, what you should know about them, sometimes Russians are not exactly kind people. I will try to explain what I mean. And also Russian magic, it's not exactly what is done for the good, you know. We have a lot of ways how to harm other people. And by a lot of ways, I mean a lot of ways. The simplest things, such as go to the church, ask for candles, buy for candles. In the Russian church, you're not allowed to come with your candles. You need to buy candles there. And you take this candle and you go to the place where everyone puts candles up for the dead relatives. And you go put this candle for the dead relative, but not for the dead relative, for a person who is still alive, with a bad intention for this person to become ill, or the worst case scenario, this person would die. Why would you do that? Because in Russia we have this approach to life, like if I fail, you'll fail. If I fail, you don't fail. I want you to fail. And I cannot really explain where it is coming from, and this is something that I noticed a lot. And unfortunately, I can also even find something like this deep in myself. I'm really fighting against it, and I might be jealous of something, and I never wish sincerely anything bad to people, except for people who just don't have any empathy, and I send them a diarrhea curse or constipation curse, but it's well deserved, I think. Otherwise, it's something deep inside. I cannot really understand why it is like this and what it is like this. And that's also why Russians expect something bad from the surrounding. That's why there are also spells. For example, there is a spell. I don't know if I find it. There is the spell how to get rid of your disease. You need to take some kind of an expensive thing, or an expensive phone, or a ring, a golden ring, or a golden piece, whatever. You need to put your disease into this object, and you need to go to the crosswalk and drop it there. And when someone picks it up, that means that this person will take your disease. That's why I'm a Slavic person. I never pick stuff up. Never. It's for me, it's impossible to see certain things. Like, for example, once a year ago with my friend in Potsdam, we went to Potsdam just for fun, and in the trash bin there were flowers. She picked them up and she was happy. Those were normal flowers. They were just thrown away for this or that reason. I would never have done that, because I would have been sure that there is a curse on these flowers. Here there is a question, however. Why can't we, all the witches, find something ugly and golden? You know, because, for example, Vladimir Putin, he likes ugly golden stuff. You know, this rich countryside. I don't want to offend anyone, but in Russia we would say something like rich countryside. Something that is expensive but very, very ugly. We should find this. We should put all our diseases, chronic diseases, everything. And we need to send someone to Russia to drop this thing somewhere where Putin would pick it up. And the problem is solved. And if it works, we can also try it with Netanyahu, Viktor Orban, Donald Trump, whoever. Witches. I'm open for your suggestion. Also, another problematic thing, enchanting and making people love you. Usually your husband, or I don't know if it's also done like against the girls. Usually girls enchant boys, but boys can also enchant girls. Girls enchant girls, boys enchant boys. No, I think it's rare in Russia, I guess. But okay. And enchanting is also something that I'm aware of. It's something that my family believes in, and I heard loads of stories where a person was obviously enchanted, and this person was so ill after. The person couldn't separate from the loved one, the one who had enchanted him, mostly him. But also next to this person, he couldn't live either. He was suffering, and the life energy was leaving, was being sucked out of the person. The person eventually dies. Yeah, so there are so many ways to harm a person, also a loved one, and also there are the spells. I'm sure she didn't invent them, Madam Pamita, I mean, but listen. I will prepare a feast for you, loved one's name, and you will obey my command. You will not move away from me. You will follow me at my heel. You will love me as you did on the first day, and will not look for a replacement for me. Only look at me, and not look at anyone else. Eat this food, and you will never reject me, and you will forget anyone else. That's a milder one. There is also the one... Yeah, this one was wild. As soon as the dew on the poppy petals dries up, name of your target remembers me. Let them love me more than life. Let them follow me as if on a leash. On a leash, I just put it down. All their thoughts aspire to be with me. All their feelings for me wake up. I bind the spell with words. I bind our souls forever. I like the word leash, love me more than life. I'm against that. No matter if you believe in magic or not, generally you don't need to tie anyone to yourself. Please, let's rather all find a psychologist. And this part is very disturbing for me because I don't like associate people with leashes, but it's just me, I don't know. Also, another thing that I don't like in Slavic magic, and which I thought about it while reading this book, it's something that is called babullying. What it is, babullying, it's from the word babushka, granny, and bullying, granny bullying. Not we bully grannies, grannies usually bully us, the youth. And I was bullied, and many of my friends were bullied, and we even have a term, babullying. And this thing also, this narrative of Baba Yaga, of being the elder one, the smartest one. So she is looking at you from above, and it's intimidating, of course. It's patronizing, and also it's cruel sometimes. For example, for the main character of the fairy tales, for Vasilina, and in the end they part very happily. They were very attached to each other, Baba Yaga and Vasilina. But in the real life, babullying, it's something that breaks family, destroys families, and that leads to the fact that old people are alone and the young people don't want to have anything to do with them because they are so toxic for them. They have to flee, they have to go into no contact with their elder relatives. And also elderly are not always right. I have to point it out. I experienced that many times. They are not always right because the age doesn't necessarily make you wise and smart. And also you must not humiliate anyone. Even children deserve to be talked respectfully, to be talked to respectfully. But yeah, I'm just a bit of being annoying in this topic. It's just my thing. Otherwise, I think you'll find many interesting things in this book. I can recommend it. I think this one will go back to my friend. I will probably one day also buy a copy for myself because it's just a nice, well-written book, and Madam Pamita put her soul into it. She did a great research, and I think it's worth being mentioned, especially if you love Slavs and their peculiarities that I have named a lot. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed preparing this video for sure, and reading this book for this video, not only for this video. Please remember that doctors and psychologists are very important. And first we go to doctors and psychologists, and then maybe we try milder spells and milder magic, but let's always try to rather look into ourselves and do magic for the inside of ourselves, if we don't talk about Vladimir Putin and other dictators, okay? I finally realized who I am, especially now when my braids are already falling apart. I think I am a suburban mermaid who is planning to cook her lunch. And I already undressed a couple of onions to show another thing described in the book. And let's paint some eggs. Let's color, let's dye some eggs. Let's not dye, let's dye eggs. I also wanted to joke that now I know who I am. I am a kravasisia. If some Ukrainians watch me, is it true that a vampire is a kravasisia? No offense, it's a very funny word. I'm just interested because I have a kind of a joke. Oh, normally, if you want to dye eggs, to make magical eggs, of course you need more than that. My granny collects onion peels throughout the whole year. Usually we do it for Easter, but it's also nice to do it in some other times, because also you can eat the eggs, and the peel of the eggs you can put into the current, into the water, to please the spirits. But I wouldn't, let's not do that. Yeah, let's not add the pollution. And I have a small pot. I have only 2 eggs. I have only these, and I need to put this to simmer for 30 minutes. What it is going to be, probably it's going to be such an incredible... Continue by yourself. Because I have red onion, I think it's supposed to make like brown color, and the red color is usually like from the standard onion, but I have only red onion. Whatever, let's try. I think I will eat something else because it's going to take a load of time, so I will update you. Whee! 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 I think my neighbor's dog is back together with my neighbors. I'm so excited. Well, I understand this is a COVID dog got during COVID times, and it's very, very scared of everything, and it is not really properly trained. But in the book of Baba Yaga, there is also a spell to banish the neighbors. If you don't like your neighbors, I like my neighbors, they just have a stupid dog. It happens. But I can't imagine myself or anyone crawling into someone's garden or into someone's yard to bury some magical stuff to banish the neighbors. Can you imagine that? I just crawl into my neighbor's territory. Then someone spots me and it would be like, hey? Okay, I already extracted 2 eggs. And now we need to remove the peels. Let's hope that it has simmered enough. Our potion. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. Now, I'm sure there are better ways to do that, so... Okay. There are 2 eggs. And let's make it a bit like this for it to boil, to start boiling. And I think from time to time, I have a suspicion it's going to be yellow. Something. I think from time to time you have to turn it. Oh no! One of them cracked, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to do anything with those. Both of them cracked. Nice. I think it's because I put it into hot water. Whatever. Okay. Let's set 15 minutes. Let's hope that nothing will explode, neither this nor that, in 15 minutes. Okay, it cracked, but it also died. Not died. I can show it to you. That's the color that we've got. It's pinkish, brownish-ish color. And of course, normally you would have to remove the water, let it cool down, and leave the eggs overnight in this dyed water. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to eat my lunch. And yeah, somehow I always felt like these eggs were tastier than any other eggs, maybe because of how much time it spent boiling in the water. And if you want to try it out for fun, you can, or for a magical ritual. It's not super complicated. I guess that's all what I had wanted to say. I hope you had fun. Thank you for the lesson. I wanted to say I haven't conducted lessons for ages already. Thank you for watching. I hope it's not as hot as here, and enjoy your time, especially if you're not preparing for Telk zwei Deutsch. If you are, I'm sorry, I'm with you. I am writing the exam on the weekend, and I will be wishing you love, love, peace, peace, Romana of Northern Germany. Tschüss.